welcome to another edition of Tunnel Vision. I'm your host, Ryan Abraham, joined alongside Mr. Triple Double, Connor Morrissette. And we've got freshman USC linebacker Tackett Curtis, fan favorite, is joining us thanks to the House of Victory. Tackett, how you doing? Thanks for coming on.
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be here. This podcast for y'all.
All right. Well, it's good to hear. Yeah, like I mentioned, fan favorite. Whenever you get like a highly ranked recruit, Connor knows this. The Peristyle message boards over there just got to go crazy. They want to see what you can come in and do. So everyone's been happy to see how much playing time you've been getting. I think fourth on the team in tackles. You led the team in tackles over the weekend at Notre Dame. How's the freshman year been so far for you?
I think it's been really good. I mean, I've just been doing a lot of growing. Like I can see myself like every week just growing as far as like getting more comfortable with the scheme and just my knowledge of football and what to look for as a defensive player. And just I really think just my knowledge of the game is starting to grow a lot.
Tackett, when you found out you were starting for that first game, your first ever game against San Jose State, what went through your mind? And just take me through what you did after you found out you were going to start.
It was kind of unreal. Like when I found out, it was like the first week, and I mean we just been grinding, not really thinking about it at all. And I mean that first game, you've been preparing for it, but I mean it's like you've been doing fall camp, spring camp, and you just been practice, and it's never a game. And then it was game week, and it was like Coach Odom was like, I was watching film with him for the game. I think it was like that Sunday, and he was like, you're probably gonna get a lot of reps and start this Saturday. And I was like, man, I didn't know what to say. I was just excited. It was kind of a surreal moment, and just called the fam and let them know that I was gonna be playing that Saturday. So it was exciting.
Speaking of the family, have they been able to come out and watch your games much? You're coming all the way from Louisiana.
Yeah, the family, they've been able to come to a lot of them. They were at the game last night too at Notre Dame. They all got to see that one. That was kind of a big one that the fan wanted to see, so they all got to see that one. And then mom and dad and then sister and then my brothers, they've been trying to make as many as they can of like the home games. And so it's been great being able to have them in the stands and just knowing they're there to support me.
I mentioned at the top of the show, this interview is brought to you, everybody, by House of Victory, and I'm going to put a little QR code up. It's kind of under my head there, but if you want to donate to the House of Victory and help, acquire players for USC and get players like Tackett and get their families to go to games and all of that, how much of a difference has House of Victory made for you, Tackett, kind of this season?
Man, they've made a big difference just being able to get my family out to the games. I feel like that's something that's just very special. And I mean, I want to be playing college football for so long. And so every game that they're able to come to, I mean, it means a lot to me because it's been my dream. And they've been there. They've been along the way the whole time. So being able to have the House of Victory help support me to get my family out to the games has been great.
Tackett, your family's tough to miss because it's a lot of number 25 jerseys, and I think it's your brother who has the jersey that says T-Sizzle on the back. Maybe it's your cousin or something, but is that your brother, and how did that nickname come together?
Yeah, that's my brother with the T-Sizzle jersey. Yeah, he's been calling me that. His favorite team used to be the Ravens, and they had, I think his name was Terrell Suggs, the linebacker, and that was his nickname, T-Sizzle. So he used to call me that because of that guy, and so I guess that's kind of how the name came to be.
T-Sizzle. So yeah, we saw him. I think actually, Connor and I went to what was the last home game? We were over at the House of Victory tailgate party, which I've talked about. They have Rex Steakhouse catering it and stuff, and I think we saw your family kind of walking in front of us. So they were there, like everyone's representing. They had the number 25s out there, so it looked like the Curtis family was out there in full force.
Oh yeah, man, they come full force, ready to support. I got a good family.
Tackett, let's look at last night. So of course, not the result the team wanted, but I thought it was your best game in a USC uniform. What did you make of your performance last night individually? I know as a team, of course, there will be stuff that you want to improve on, but how do you think you did last night? And just talk about your improvement from the beginning of the year to Game 7. It just looked to me like you've made leaps and bounds, and you're playing a lot better football the longer the year goes on.
I'd say the biggest thing last night that I kind of noticed within myself is that I was really comfortable out there. Like I wasn't so much as worried about what I have to do on this play, but I was more worried about just making the play. Like I already knew what I had to do. Like most the previous games, I'm just thinking what I have to do on this play, what I have to do if they do this, and last night it was like I know what I got to do. I've been doing this for 5 games. It's like I know what I'm doing. Just go make the play now. And I played a little bit more confident, and I tried to over communicate everything last night. And I feel like that helped me myself, just hearing myself say things and point things out. I feel like that helped myself. And so I've just been trying to grow every week, and I feel like that's not something you can just say it's gonna just happen after one game. I mean, it takes time to just keep growing, and so I just trust the staff, and I trust this team. I trust Coach Grinch, Coach Odom, and I know that they're going to develop me into a great player. So I don't have any worries.
Do you feel like the game sort of slowed down at some point, or just you were kind of picking? I mean, just the way the offense, the way you were like reading the offense and kind of flowing with the game. Did it seem like it slowed down a little for you, and just you were able to go freely and make some plays?
Yeah, it's definitely thinking back on like my first game versus San Jose State. It's crazy how much different it was like last night compared to San Jose State. Just like how much the game slowed down, and just like my mindset going into every play.
Tackett, what was Lincoln Riley's message in the locker room after last night's game?
The main thing that he told us was like we didn't play great ball last night. We didn't have a good night, and but I mean, there's greatness is right around the corner. We just have to keep pushing. I think he said that each of his teams that had a loss earlier in the season came back and went on to win the conference championship. And so he was like, man, there's green grass ahead of us. We just got to keep working and keep our head down and keep grinding. And I'm sure we'll be blessed with opportunity if everything continues to work out.
And then how about Alex Grinch's message too? Sorry to cut you off, Ryan, because
worries.
it felt to me like the defense played a really solid game last night. What was Coach Grinch's message to you guys?
We haven't heard from Coach Grinch yet. He didn't speak in the team meeting. It was just Coach Riley, but I mean, he just came around to everybody and just kind of hugged us and let us know that we're going to be all right. Just got to keep growing, and we'll hear from him tomorrow in the defensive meeting, and he'll let us know what he's thinking.
This is you're a freshman, your first year in college football. Big adjustment going from high school to college, and then what was it like being in an environment? I mean, Boulder was pretty crazy, obviously. But what was it like being in an environment like Notre Dame with all the history and everything around, all this college football kind of royalty or whatever being there? Like, what was that experience like for you?
That experience was something else, man. Just playing college ball and being able to play in that Notre Dame game. I was just thinking, I was like, man, last night there was nowhere else that I'd rather have been than be on that field, competing with my team and guys that I've been going to work with since the spring. And so, man, I was hyped. That atmosphere was crazy. Their fans were great. It made the game fun.
Tackett, last question for me about last night. Caleb was clearly pretty emotional after that game. How did the locker room build him up after what happened last night?
Yeah, man, we don't really have any doubt in Caleb, man. A guy like that, he's our leader, and so we know that he's gonna be all right, man. He's a playmaker. That's what he does, and so there's no doubt. We're our heads up. We're just on to the next one. You can't dread. I mean, you can go back and look and see what you did wrong and grow from it, but you can't dread. It's on to the next week. We're already preparing for next week and looking at our mistakes, and we're gonna clean those up from last week. Make sure we don't do it again. We don't doubt anybody in this locker room.
College football is a fun sport. It's a funny sport. I mean, from week to week, you don't know what to. I mean, it's a very strange sport. I mean, you've been a part of it for a little while. You guys were the best team in the nation in tackles for loss. You're really good at generating quarterback pressures. Where I thought the defense played overall a better game against Notre Dame, only 251 total yards. The thing you kind of did the best, you had the only tackle for loss on the team. Did you kind of feel that maybe you weren't making the big plays in the backfield, but you were sort of limiting, big plays overall, like just not letting the run game get going, not as many explosive plays. It seems like you guys did a better job on the back end, but maybe not forcing as many negative plays, behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I felt like we had a lot of like stops. We had a lot of stops. There wasn't like a lot of just big explosive stops where we're getting sacks or we're getting a lot of TFLs, but we're making stops and we're getting the ball back to our offense. I felt like we did a pretty solid job of that last night, just trying to get the ball back to them. But yeah, we're just trying to make stops, man. I feel like the one thing that we could have done better last night was to get some more takeaways and turnovers just to help that ratio of last night, because I know we had a few on our side. So I think if we could have like forced some fumbles or got some interceptions, that would have made the game a lot closer.
Tackett, I want to talk.
We could have done better.
Sorry to interrupt you there. I'd like to hit on your recruitment a little bit here. So Lincoln Riley in the past, he's talked about how he felt like you were the best linebacker in your high school class, and they zeroed in on you. You, of course, picked USC. What ultimately sold you on choosing USC after they zeroed in on you?
I'd say the first thing was that like I said earlier, I trusted the staff. I trust Coach Grinch and Coach Odom, and then Coach Riley, the vision that he sold me about USC and what he wants to do here. I felt like it was something I couldn't have done at any other place, and I just wanted to help to try to get USC back on top of college football and back where it needs to be, and that was something that really sold me. And then just my relationship with the staff here, I feel like I have a really good relationship, and I trust them, and I trust them to develop my abilities and help and hopefully get me to the next level. And at the same time, that vision of getting USC back to where it needs to be, I feel like that's something that I want to be a part of.
So half a year or so you've been on campus, or maybe not quite that long, several months. Anything kind of surprise you about coming to the West Coast, being at USC, being in college for the first time? Anything sort of like, I didn't expect this, or something that was like maybe surprising for you?
I wouldn't really say just any surprises. It's a lot different than my hometown in Manning because it's so much bigger. There's a lot of more stuff going on. Like everybody's trying to get here and there, and people come to LA to accomplish their dreams, and so it's a lot different. It's like when I go back home, it's just like everything's like slow. Nobody's in a rush or hurry to get anywhere. Everybody's just kind of real calm. But here, it's like everybody's get there, trying to accomplish dreams. So I'd say that's a big difference.
Do you like it? Do you like the fast-paced lifestyle or whatever?
Yeah, I like both of them. There's sometimes I'm like, man, I want to get back home. Like sometimes I think I want to get back home, and then sometimes like, man, I love being out here. I feel like it makes me even grind harder being out here because I'm with everybody else trying to accomplish their dreams. So I always feel great when I'm out here because I know that I'm out here for one thing, and it's to go after my dream.
Yeah, speaking of accomplishing dreams, so there's some other talented linebackers in the room with you. Who's helped you get up to speed with the USC defense and really taken you under their wing?
Man, I wouldn't really say just one of them. I mean, all of them. I've gone to pretty much every linebacker in the room for help on different things and within the scheme. And they've each been right there, man. There's right there to help me. Whether it's Shane, E.G., Mason, Rajon, they're all right there to help me. They help me in the meeting rooms and on the field. Like I was saying, like during practice, like if they see something within my game that I may have messed up on, and Coach Odom may have been watching other linebacker, they'll be like, hey, you did this, you could have done this better. And so, I mean, I feel like I'm just blessed to be in this linebacker room with these guys that are anxious to help me at any moment.
Tackett, the football, as far as the Pac-12 championship goes, you guys are still undefeated in conference. What's kind of the message that you guys can still go out and win the Pac-12? This was an out-of-conference game. You got a big one, Utah, coming up. Like, what's kind of been the message in the locker room about still being able to achieve your goals?
Yeah, man, I think we got everything ahead of us. Everything's still ahead of us. Any goal that we want to accomplish, I believe that we can do that. And I feel like this team, I mean, we haven't really even thought about, we don't really get into all that, man. We just, who do we got this week? Utah, and we're going out to go beat them and preparing to go beat them. We don't really look at all the outliers within it. Just go win this week, and everything will work out.
Tackett, do you remember a specific moment, maybe in the spring or during fall camp, where it kind of clicked, like you weren't maybe just going to play, but you were going to start, you were going to have a real role on this team? Take me back through those early days when you first came to USC, when it kind of all went through your head, like, okay, I might just not just be a rotational player. I might have a major role with this defense. When did that click for you?
I'd probably say the moment it clicked for me when I was just like just going over film and just watching myself, and I was like, man, I'm making plays at this level. Like I'm making plays. Like we had spring scrimmages, and I was just seeing myself making solid plays, and I was like, man, if I can make plays like that, like I'm doing in the spring, then there's no reason why I shouldn't be able be out there on the field doing it against any other offense. If I can do it against our offense and the Heisman winner, then there's no reason I couldn't do it against anybody else. So I'd say I was like just recognizing, I was like, man, I can do this. So it just kind of gave me confidence.
Tackett, we put a thread on the Peristyle message board over at uscfootball.com, and like I mentioned, you're a popular player. Everyone wants to see you do well. They asked some questions. They posted some questions on the board. Would you mind answering a few of those? Is that okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Hopefully they got some good ones for you. Do you want to start, Connor?
Sure. So one person already said Trojan JJ2830. We already asked you about Notre Dame, but he said, by the way, you played a great game, fight on. So great job, Tackett, with that. The second question comes from our colleague Jack Smith, and he said, what aspects of the tackling drills during practice that you guys work on have helped you improve the most?
Yeah, so the linebackers specifically, I don't know about the other position groups, but we get after tackling drills pretty prevalent. Like we do it Tuesday, Wednesday specifically. We'll go against tight ends and running backs. Like we'll do block shedding drills, and then we'll go from that and do like tackling drills. And I'd say that's helped me a lot, man. Just being able to get reps every day, or not every day, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays, like in the meat of the week, going against our guys. Just specific techniques. Like my tackling's improved from the first week to now. Just trying to tackle lower. My aiming point being on the legs instead of just trying to run through the chest, and just knowing there's times when you can run through somebody's face, and then there's times where you have to go and grab their leg and just finding that aiming point. So I feel like that's something that's really helped me a lot, and I feel like it's only going to get better.
661 Trojan wanted to know about Los Angeles, how you've adjusted to here, if you're a little homesick, and if you have any favorite spots.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, man, I wouldn't really say I'm just homesick, because I know that I'm out here for a reason. I'm out here trying to accomplish my goals, and that's not back in my hometown of Manning. But when I do have time off, I'm like, man, I can't wait to get home and see the family and just hang out and kind of slow down for a little bit and enjoy just some off time being with the family. And but I wouldn't really say I just have any specific spots out here just for food. I kind of stay on campus, and they cook us some pretty good food at our Galen Center, so I don't have to go too far to find good food.
Hoops Folly 247 wants to know, what do you think you need to improve on as the season progresses to tougher parts of the schedule?
One thing I think I need to improve on probably just be just making more plays, man. I feel like there's plays I'm leaving out there on the field that I feel like if I was able to make some of those plays, I could really just take over a game, and I feel like we could solidify our defense. Not just me, but like there's plays that we're all leaving out there, and just small things and those small things add up. When you can make those small things happen every time, like consistently, that's when you have a great defense. And I feel like we're right on the verge of that, man. Every week we just keep continuing to put things in our head over and over and over and over again, and I feel like it's starting to click here pretty soon, and we're gonna have a great defense. But yeah, just for myself, just improving that. Some other things, just communication, trying to make sure we're all on the same page. I'd say just identifying what kind of plays come out of different formations. Seeing like if we have this formation, we might have this set list of plays that might come from this formation, or wherever you have it.
Trojan Kevin wrote in and said, "Who do you model your game after in the NFL? And if you made it, have you made any pitches to Lincoln Riley to let you play Wildcat quarterback a little bit?"
For the first part, I'd probably say who I like watching the most would probably be Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. I'm a 49ers fan, so I know they didn't have a good day today, but yeah, Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, man, they both get after it. I feel like they just play till the whistle blows, and I feel like that's a big reason. Their mentality and the way they run the ball is a big reason why they're such good players. And so I just try to play like that. I'm just trying to be more like that. And but for the other question, no, I haven't asked him about that Wildcat. I do miss having the ball in my hands, though. I can't lie. I miss having the ball in my hands. We got a pretty good quarterback, though, so
He's okay.
I don't have to worry about that.
Easy Trojan wants to know, what's been the biggest adjustment from high school to college from a positional sense, because you played some safety in high school? How are you adapting to the linebacker role, and what are the main differences that you've noticed?
The main differences for me was when I was in high school, I didn't really have to shed blocks as much playing free safety. I had everybody in front of me that was kind of doing the dirty work as far as shedding blocks. So that's something that I've grown so much in, is just shedding blocks. And Coach Odom's really helped me with that. And then another thing is just like angles, because I used to be 10 yards off the ball. Now I'm 5 yards off the ball. So things kind of operated a little bit differently. And I just had to be able to change up my angles a little bit on some different plays. And I'd say that's probably the two most important things.
Easy Trojan also wanted to know what your personal football goals are while you're at USC.
I want to bring a national championship here. That's one thing I want to do. And then I want to make it to the NFL. Make it to the NFL, just accomplish my dreams, be the best player I can be for this program.
Sorry, I have another question here, but I forgot to put the username. Only Natty at USC wants to know, do you watch any highlights of Brian Cushing and feel any similarity to him, Tackett, since you were both out-of-staters who played safety in high school and played a lot in your freshman year at USC? Is Brian Cushing a guy you follow? Do you follow him at all?
Yeah, man. I follow Brian Cushing. Yeah, I've watched a ton of his highlight videos. When I think about him, one of them that comes to mind is when he's like he's in like training camp, and he's going against Alfred Blue in the one-on-one block, where Alfred Blue's trying to block him, and he's just roughing him up, and he's giving it to him. And then another video is, I think he's like when they get an interception, he's in the NFL, and he blocks this guy and he knocks his helmet off, and then he headbutts him, and his nose just starts bleeding. And I was like, man, that's something else. But yeah, I try to play like him. He's a physical player, and I feel like he set the tone for defense. So I try to do that. I try to play like him, just be physical.
Kenny the Snake 12 says, which of the other linebackers are you most comfortable playing alongside with, and why would you say so?
Man, I'm comfortable with all of them. They all have different play styles, but the main thing is that they all communicate with me. They ought to communicate well with me, and I have complete trust. I have complete trust in all of them, and so when you play that way, you trust that he's going to do his job, so you can do yours. And in our defense, we work off each other a lot. So if one of us messes up, then it's going to mess up both of us. So we have to be able to trust each other, and I think that's something that I can do with all the linebackers. So I spend so much time with them that it's like, hey, I know the ins and outs of all of them. We practice every day, work out every day, and hang out with each other in our off time. So,
cool.
USC Dean 03 wants to know, what's the travel experience like at USC for road games? How's that been for you?
I'd say our travel experience is this. I mean, we're locked in. Like when we go places, we're locked in. There's not much going on the side. We get there, we have our walkthroughs, have our meetings. Miss Rachel and the nutrition team, they do a great job of making sure we have good meals, and then our therapy team, like our those guys, they help us get ready and make sure we're all ready to go. Don't have any knickknacks or banged up at all. They'll get us fixed in the hotel. So we have a great team.
What are those? We always see when we're going into practice at the end of practice those smoothies. How are they? Are those pretty good?
Yeah, they're pretty good. I think they're for like hydration, but yeah, they're pretty good, man. They fix them up pretty good. And then like when we have workout days, we'll have like protein smoothies. I like those better, and but they're really good too.
They have specialized ones for you guys. Like, so if you're trying to maintain or gain or lose weight, like, do they have sort of specialized meals or smoothies or anything like that for the different players?
Yeah, if you have a specialized like if you're trying to gain weight, yeah, they'll make sure they're putting more protein and you're eating more times a day. So yeah, they specialize them for sure.
Cool.
This next question lines up perfectly with that. Silent Commit wants to know, as an early enrollee, you've had some time to work with Coach Wiley and his team. What do you think of USC's strength and conditioning program and the effect it's had on your body?
Man, I think they do a great job. And they opened me up to a lot of new things when I got here. As far as the way that they train, man, they push us. That's the one thing I'll say. They push us every day. Every day's a work day, and Coach Wiley gets the most out of us. And I feel like that's one of the best things about him is he's somebody that's going to get the most out of you, and he's going to help you. He's going to help you whatever goals you have. He's going to be honest with you, and he's going to let you know what you have to do to achieve those goals and where you're at right now and the track that you need to get on to get there. And if you're a guy that says, hey, I want to gain 40 pounds, and you go and tell Coach Wiley that, he'll be like, dude, no, you're not. He's like, how many times you ate today? The kid will be like, one time, he's like, you really trying to gain 40 pounds? And so, I mean, that's just something you got to respect about him. He's going to be honest with you.
One of the better usernames we have, Hot Since 91, says, how important is it for a new player like yourself to avenge the 2 losses to Utah last year? Because it's Utah week now.
Yeah, man. I say one thing that so at the beginning of the season, we watched like a video, and it was like the Utah games, and it was just like a montage of clips and how the game kind of didn't go our way. And I was in there with the rest of the team, guys from the previous year, and I'm just sitting there with them, and I could just feel the emotion in the room. And it's like, man, guys are pissed off. Guys are in there crying, watching the video, knowing that was kind of the end to our season when we lost to them. And it was like, I'm pretty much brothers with these guys now. So like when I see them crying or I see them hurting, I see their emotion, it's like it comes into me too. And I'm pissed off now. I'm ready to go play too.
I think fans are gonna love to hear that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Silent Commit, one other one from that user. Who are some of your closest friends on the team, Tackett?
Man, I'm pretty close with all of them. I'd say that. The closest that I'm probably with, I spend the most time with outside of football would probably be Christian Pierce and then Elijah Page, and they're both in my class. And Elijah was my roommate for a while, so I got to be pretty close with him. And then me and Christian have just been close since we got here with each other. So that's probably who I spend the most time with outside of the facility. But and we have a pretty good brotherhood and culture in our locker room. I'll say that. I say we have a really good brotherhood and culture. Yeah.
We got a couple more. We'll let you go. Really appreciate your time. Lefty 5454. What's it like going from one of the most rural areas in the country to Los Angeles, and do you miss Louisiana food?
It's been a big change for me, but I'd say the experience has been something that was just great for me in my life. I'm glad that I got to experience this because a lot of people where I'm from, they don't get to come out here and see this. They don't get to come to LA and see all the opportunity out here. And it just makes me grateful for the position that I'm in. And days when I might get down on myself and feel like I'm not on track, I'll just remember, I'm like, man, there's people that are down to be in the position you're in. So it just helps me to keep grinding. But, yeah, that's one thing. I do miss Louisiana. I miss it sometimes and miss seeing the people down there. But it's not something that just gets too out of hand. And then for the food, though, that's a different question. The food I'd miss a lot. I miss the food a lot. I can't lie. We had some good food. Where I was from. Just Cajun food, and I miss it. It's a different type of food.
Yeah. Is there any kind of good Cajun around? Like get some crawfish etouffee or anything? Or is there any place around you like that?
I've heard that there's a spot in LA, but I haven't gone to check it out yet. I gotta go check it out. When I get some free time, I'm gonna go see how it is. I'll let y'all know.
Okay.
The last question we have here is from Shoe63, and he or she wants to know which team that USC has played has been the most physical and the most difficult to defend so far.
I was just talking about this earlier with Coach Odom. I'd probably say Arizona. Arizona was probably the most toughest to defend.
Any reason why?
They were a physical group. I feel like their O-line was a really good O-line, and they played a good ball game. They came out with a good mindset to come out and try to attack us. So I'd say they were probably the toughest.
Yeah, they've been a surprise. They took Washington to the brink. They took you guys to the brink, and then they went up to the Palouse and just shellacked Washington State yesterday. So they've been a kind of surprise team. So yeah, that makes sense. Well, Tackett, we really appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us, and we want to thank House of Victory for setting these up. These have been awesome. We had a lot of fun. It's just, getting to talk to you after practice for like 5 minutes or something is one thing, but it's cool to just kind of get to, feel what it's like, what the college experience has been like for you, especially playing as a true freshman, starting as a true freshman. It's got to be kind of a whirlwind out there. So we appreciate you spending some time with us, and wishing you best of luck the rest of the year.
Thanks, Tackett.
Yeah, thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe.
All right. That's Tackett Curtis. Follow him on Twitter at Curtis_Tackett. He's fighting on there for all you guys. So thanks again to Tackett Curtis and to House of Victory. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we will talk to you next time.